Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back into another edition of Jet Fuel. I'm Mathias. You're with Craig Flint, and again, special guest, as we like to do, bringing people in.
He may not need an introduction.
Yeah,
may not
some
need
people.
an introduction. That's what I was trying to say in English.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
Words are hard. Kent, introduce yourself, sir.
Well, obviously, I'm Kent Urbanski.
Who are you?
I've been here for a couple of years.
Just a couple of years.
Behind the scenes, right?
Well, I mean,
a little of it.
Yeah, give him his flowers. Kent's been here a long time, and he's, like we were talking before we started here, he's done just about everything and really had his fingerprints all over stuff that we've worked on over the years.
So the other day we were kind of riffing about people who have been in this building for years and years. Lou, Sean's of the world, and then there are people like Kent who are behind the scenes, but you're no stranger to being in front of the camera either.
Yeah.
No, but it's been a little bit. It's been since last year that, doing the black and gold nation stuff.
Sunday morning.
Which they took it away from him. What gives?
I don't know. Things change. The powers to be.
They always change.
The people at the top,
Yeah.
they sit at their desk and
Exactly.
try to figure out ways to make things different or better, and not necessarily for the better, in my opinion. I mean, it's
All right. We can give opinion here. It's all right.
Yeah. So we left it with a
You did a good job.
a PAB award for best show
There
in
you go.
Pennsylvania.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah. There you
go.
Right. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get the justification for the switch, but who am I
are you
to
gonna
say?
do?
I'm just a guy that walks through the door. And,
Cog of the wheel, man.
right. That's it.
These guys would go to every Steelers game for our regional marketplace special that we did on the Steelers, Black and Gold Today, or Black and Gold Nation.
Black and Gold Nation.
Yeah.
Black and Gold Today was the show. Black and
Yep.
Gold Nation was the overall
brand,
coverage.
yeah.
For the brand.
Yeah, and just big sports fan for one.
Yeah.
So that's been really cool for you over the years.
Right,
Doing
yeah.
all that and going to those games,
Yeah.
playoff games, Super Bowls, right?
Yep, 9 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, born and raised a Steelers fan from the Pittsburgh area, so getting to cover my hometown team, right? I mean, that was wasn't even like work to me.
Yeah.
It was, but it wasn't.
Exactly. I think that's kind of because here's we don't make a lot of money in this biz, but
That's true.
if you love it, you're willing to put up with a lot of.
Well, I always say, I'm not getting rich doing it, but
Right.
I've had $1 million worth of experience.
So many
Right.
experiences.
Right,
And that's why I think people like you are a diamond in the rough these days. I was just saying that the other day. It's not often that you get, whether it's a photog, director, behind the scenes, anchor reporter, meteorologist, whatever. It's not often that you get someone to stick around and market.
Right.
What size is this?
At 150 mark
Yeah,
or something
right in
like
the
that.
middle,
And I've had plenty of opportunities.
I was just
going
going
to
to ask you about that.
Yeah, I've had offers to go all over the country, and Jet was just like an old shoe to me. You know what I mean?
There's comfort.
Exactly. And I was achieving all of the goals and things that I wanted to do here, and I felt like if I went somewhere else, I'd have to start all over again, be low man on a totem pole, and work my way up and watch other people do the things that I was doing here. So I just decided to stay, and 38 years later, here I am.
And it's coming up. Right?
Yeah, mid-October is why I started here mid-October in 1988.
Okay.
And I've been here ever since, never worked anywhere else.
I was 2.
I wasn't even a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be celebrating my 60th birthday in January, so.
Congratulations.
So you're counting down the days.
A little bit.
A little bit,
I mean,
yeah.
I've got a couple years to go, and I don't want to rush my life. But 62. If I would have opened my eyes in the morning and be 62, that's my target date. January 22nd, 1960 or 66 is when I was born. So as soon as that date rolls around,
That's crazy.
that'll be it for me.
Man, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to achieve that.
It's a lot.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
like you just wake up one day and you're 62 years old and you're like, you know what?
Today's the day.
I just don't feel like doing this anymore.
Well,
I don't want to go to work today.
And guys like me, I mean, you don't see anymore, right?
Right.
I mean, because usually people move on in jobs every 5 years, every couple of years, especially in this business now with 2-year contracts, and then people move on and stuff. And yeah, I just I walked in the doors here in 1988. Still, I was a junior at Edinburgh, and I've been here ever since.
Can you highlight some of the things over the years, like just some of the hats you've worn? Because there's been a lot.
Well, I mean, I've done a little bit of everything, from in the production end of it to sports to news, right? So, and then working with the weather team, doing all the weather shows, and which
big props to you on that.
Yeah, thank you. Which has been great, and it's fun, and I've got to meet a lot of the people, the weather watchers from all over the place, and they roll out the red carpet when I come into town, right? So, you know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'll just go back. You know, at Edinburgh, when I arrived at Edinburgh, I'm from the Glassport, Pittsburgh, McKeesport area, and I went to Edinburgh in 1980. I arrived there in January of '85 to run track and cross country. And I really had no clue what I wanted to do for a living, you know. So like I threw a dart at the.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like I'll be a history major. It's the only, you know, subject in high school that I liked. And they give you this work study job, and mine was at the media services department, handing out projectors and stuff like that back in the day, you know, VHS machines to professors. And then in the spring, the head football coach, his name was Steve Zaba, walked in and he said, "I need somebody to videotape our spring practice. I'll pay you $20. And I'm like, yeah, heck yeah, I'll do that. I just wanted the $20. So at that point, we didn't even have like cameras yet. They had brand new VHS cameras still in boxes, and I can remember the guy who like was running the department, Ed St. George. We cut it open, and I'm reading the owner's manual how to run the thing. I went and shot that practice. I came back and I said, "This is what I want to do," and I've had a camera on my shoulder ever since.
I was kind of gonna. You stole a little bit of my thunder there, because I was like, well, let's go get in the Wayback Machine here. And take me back to like a 16-year-old Kent Urbanski in high school, trying to figure out what he's going to do with his life. So you had no idea.
Well, at that point in my life, from the time I was 10 until I was 18, I raced motorcycles. So it was an injury, and I think I was like 17, that ended that career and started a running career. I mean, I ran track in high school and was pretty successful at it with basically no real training. It just had some natural ability, but that got me into track and, you know, running track and field. And after, you know, I was kind of bummed out that my motorcycle career, racing career was over, and there was Edinburgh calling to, you know, run around a track instead of racing around one, you know, on my legs instead of bikes. So that got me to Edinburgh. Wasn't a great student in high school, did not like high school, did not like studying.
I was a mediocre student too.
Did not like any of that. And, and college was different. You know, once I got to college, it was a little more laid back.
So we're 18 now, and you're going to Edinburgh.
I'm running track and cross country.
Running track and cross country, and getting paid $20 to shoot things.
Right. Well, then
beer money.
Right. Once I figured out that, you know, you press a button and you can record something and watch it back, it was like, this is great. And it became an obsession to me. So I got involved in everything I could at the borough, working on the sports department, and the track and cross country team provided like a platform for me to do videos and stuff, because that's where my interests were. So then once I did like this video, it was called Hard Road to Success. It was the very first video that I did.
Is it still out there?
And they used that as a recruiting tool for years.
Really?
And then other coaches they watched it and they're like, hey, can you do one for the tennis team? Can you do one for the swim team? And then, you know, by that time, you know, I'm right around my junior year. And there was a girl named Emily Green who worked here, and she said, you should apply for a job at Jet. To get your foot in the door.
Yeah. I was going to ask, who hired you?
Yeah, so Ron Nowera, who was the news director at the time, right? So I spent all night like putting my reel together. Went to the mall. I had to charge a suit. I didn't even own a suit. So I spent $150 on this suit, and then paid this girl like $50 to type up my resume and all that, and a cover letter. And I remember walking through the doors here at Jet, and I met with Ron Nowera. And I said, hey, my name's Kent, I'm here for the interview. He said, yeah, I heard all about you. Can you start on Monday? Never looked at the tape, never looked at the resume or anything, and that was it.
You could have walked in wearing a paper bag and nothing else and probably still got the job.
He said, I really need a guy to run studio camera at night. So I was still at Edinburgh, still running. So I remember finishing up practice, all sweaty, throwing clothes in the car, driving up here and working the 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock
That's
news.
how it gets started.
There was no 5 back then or anything. It was just 6 and 11.
Sometimes I wonder if that's still the hiring process around here.
You look
Yeah.
at, you trying to look
Yeah.
directly at me, man? You jerk.
So then, my goal was, I was big into sports and I wanted to be a sports photographer. So
Yeah.
I remember in college, we would get the newspaper over at the Baron Furness Library. So I'd go over there and read the Sunday paper. They would get the Pittsburgh Press in at the time, and there was an article in there about a guy from KDKA. His name was Michael Chalik. He was the chief photographer there. He covered the Steelers, and there was an article on him. And so I cut that out, and I'm like, that's what I want to do, right? So
All
I
from a
had
newspaper clipping.
Yeah, so I put that right in my room where my desk was up, and I still have that article. And I'm like, I want to cover sports. So John Evans, who was the sports director here at the time, long story short, they started having me shoot high school football games and stuff and really liked what I was bringing back. And John said, hey, do you want to try the NFL, cover the Steelers? I'm like, heck yeah. So I remember going to my first Steelers game down at Three River Stadium, and I saw Michael Chalik from that article, and I followed him around everywhere he went. He had no idea who I was. And just to see how he handled himself and handled gear and everything like that.
That's one of the things that I remember when I was getting started in this business, and one of the pieces of advice that I got was find someone you like to watch on TV, and don't necessarily copy what they do, but emulate what they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I watched him and how he handled himself and took care of his gear and all of that, and actually ended up becoming very good friends with Mike.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Was did you ever approach him?
Yeah. Well, I told him that story. We were in Buffalo shooting a Steeler game, and it was probably in 2000s, and we had nothing to do. It was pregame, and I told him the story, and he's like, I remember that article. And said, yeah, Bill Mondo or whatever, I did that. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely right. And then I went home and I sent him that article.
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael and I then ended up shooting a lot of Steeler games and Super Bowls and stuff like that together. And
That's wild. So when you first got here, were you a news photographer?
I worked studio camera until I graduated, because that's all I was still running track and cross country, and I couldn't, if we had cross country meets or something, I couldn't work. So, you know what I mean? So he just let me do that, make my schedule whenever I could be here. And when I had to go, he let me go. So then once I graduated, I went into the news department. I worked both. I was like 5 years part-time doing both, but I was working a full-time job because I was in both departments. So.
Right.
And then I was doing sports. I was shooting NFL on Sundays, so I was already.
You were making yourself invaluable.
Yeah, well, I guess, I mean, it's, I kind of was working in all of the departments, and they were letting me do that. So
Yeah.
that was
I think that's a kind of a lost art now these days.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, well, that's not my job.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
yeah. I really what I love to do is go out and work with a reporter. I love that team thing, where you bounce ideas off of each other and create a story.
Yeah, you get to be directly a part of the storytelling process.
Yeah.
and I think it's kind of a lost art form now too. Is because I did this and it was super uncomfortable. It was nerve-wracking, but because you don't want to come off as desperate or annoying or anything like that, but you'll initially apply and send a resume or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, I'd follow up with a phone call. I mean, once or twice, I even well, it was a little white lie. I was like, oh, I would send an email, and be like, oh, I'm going to be in town.
Yeah.
Can I just stop by and say hi?
Yeah.
Kind of almost make my own interview happen.
Inserting yourself.
Right?
Yeah.
So there was one or two points in my career where I kind of put a little feeler out there and was basically just stopped by and said, is so-and-so here? Do you think I could have him for 5 minutes? Just
Well, you have to be aggressive
introduce
like
who
that. I mean,
was.
right. I mean, if you're interested in something and you want it bad enough, you have to work every angle.
Yeah.
You have to, just like a story.
Yeah.
You know, to get it.
And so I remember the two instances I did that. The one, the first guy was like, I don't know who the hell it is. I don't want to talk to him. So, like, dismissed me
you'll
right
have
away.
that.
You know, like, yeah, who the hell does this guy think he is, just showing up here and like expecting that I'm going to talk to him? You know. Okay, so that one didn't work out. The next guy was totally polar opposite.
Yeah.
Like, gave me the time. It turned into like a couple hours.
Right.
And I don't know if he just didn't have anything to do that day, but
You obviously showed him something that he was.
well, I
caught his
felt
eye.
like I felt like in a way, because it's a nerve-wracking thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone's busy and everyone's just getting busier in this industry. It's a nerve-wracking thing to do, to just kind of drop in unannounced. But I think at the end of that particular situation, I felt, at least I felt, I didn't get the job, but I felt like he really kind of appreciated that effort.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and you didn't get the job, but you got your experience
Right.
in
The ability to
face-to-face,
continue doing
right,
that sort
yeah,
of thing.
face-to-face confrontation like that, and you know, probably helped you out in your next process.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I mean, you've worked in the business a long time, and it can be, for lack of a better term, very incestuous.
Yeah.
You know, so everyone knows everyone somewhere, somehow. And I actually had a couple of instances. Actually, one of my jobs, I was going for a job in Plattsburgh, New York, and the
Where's that near?
that is way up by Canada.
Okay, wow.
And the news director got a hold of me. Is a guy named Sinan Sadar, and I think he's in Georgia now, still with Hearst. So he got a hold of me. I mean, they wined and dined me. They did the whole thing, put me up in a hotel room. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm like, I'm going to Plattsburgh, you know. And then it kind of went cold. So
And that's what it drives me crazy.
Right.
Like, because I'm like, my stepson is going through interview process. He has a really nice job right now, but he was in line for another one. And he goes through the whole process, and then he's waiting and waiting and waiting.
Hurry up and wait.
And it's like, I don't understand that, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the norm that.
yeah,
that's going
I mean,
on
they
now.
got to run it up the corporate flagpole. How many times do we hear
Right,
that
yeah,
here?
Yeah.
So it kind of went cold, and I was like playing this mind game with myself, like, do I call? Do I email? Like, finally one day I just said, the hell with it. I called, and then he broke the news to me. Like, well, we're gonna go with someone else. He goes, but there's a reason I haven't called you back. He goes, because I've been behind the scenes working on something for you.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
basically, it's a pretty involved story. So basically, what had happened was he went with my buddy, actually my college roommate, went with him over me, but he took the liberty to reach out to my buddy's former news director and said, hey, I'm sorry I'm taking your guy. I have someone that I was going to hire. If he said no, you should hire him.
Okay, so threw you a bone.
And that's how I got the job at that station. So it's weird how things work out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But, you know, and since then, I don't think there's ever going to be anyone quite like you or the Sean Laffertys of the world or the Lou's of the world, because it's just not the way the business is anymore.
Right.
But, you know, I've jumped around. I think this is my fifth TV station.
Yeah.
And my second tour of duty here. What's wrong with me?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. It's
He's a
something
madman.
like this place kind of draws you in.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because there's a comfortability here, right? You know, and I went on some interviews at some other places as far as Minnesota, and I just thought I didn't get the vibe when I walked in there. You know, I mean, here it's like you're a family, and you can sit down with anybody and have a chat like this. Which, I mean, even this is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
A lot of places, the bigger markets that I walked in, everybody was at their little cubicle working away. No one was really interacting. I didn't like that, you know. You know, because like I'm a lot of the reporters here and like the weather guys like you and Tom, well, we're friends. You know, so you go above and beyond for you know, for each other.
Well, let me just actually Kent and I was outside as he was walking in this morning because you get here 7:30.
Yeah, so
7.
yeah, I get here pretty early.
You know, he's an early guy. And I said, "You're still coming on to this podcast, right?" And he was like, Mr. Humble. He's like, "Don't make it all about me." But I'm like, "Oh no, we're gonna make it about you because you've had such a distinguished career." So you know what?
Who wants to talk about themselves for 45 minutes though? I mean, there's more to talk about.
Yeah. But I guess one of the quirky questions I have, you know, you've seen all kinds of technology change. You still use the big sucker.
I do, you know.
Why?
Well, because balance to me and the lens is so important, especially in sports, right? I mean, and a lot of the guys that you see using the smaller cameras, I just can't. I couldn't make that adjustment, you know, to just using something like
what Matt uses.
Right. So, and I could see using those cameras for lockdown situations and stuff like that, but for shooting sports, I need the extra focal length. I need, you know, I need the balance. I had the smaller one, and it just wasn't getting the job.
We're talking about cameras, by the way.
Yeah, we're talking cameras. I did have like the smaller, if we want to get technical, the JVC H50, right? You know, and it did okay, but you know. The play had to be 30 yards and in for me to get the tight stuff that I really like, the in your face to shoot. And once they were going to phase my camera out, I'm like, let's go back old school. I want the bigger camera. I want the better lens with a doubler on it, so I can get get the tight shots.
You'll see Kent with that huge camera in some of these shots from these games and stuff, like that are aired on television. Sometimes you see Kent running around there with his gear. I've seen that plenty of times.
Have you ever been the guy on the sideline where the player comes barreling out of control?
It's been close. I felt them come. You know, I'm a good ducker.
I'm sorry, what?
We're talking about cameras, by the way.
Well, I mean, so I've never been like taken out by a player, you know, because I have this like. I've seen other people do it, and I'm like, that's not going to be me. But you know, the plays come so fast. So
you're in the heat of trying to get the best shot too. You know.
So once they're 20 yards or 30 yards in, I've trained myself to pop my left eye open. So I'm shooting with both eyes open, not one closed, right? So I get the real time perspective, so I'm not going to get clobbered.
That's a cool little pro tip right there.
So I've had to duck away and move away. I've been hit with footballs. You know, they're coming so fast. You can't avoid those. So I've taken a few shots from footballs, and then I did get my leg run over by the camera dolly that goes up and down the sideline to network. So. I got my leg broken in Buffalo, so.
Is that a workers' comp thing?
Well, you know, that happened on an NBC game, and they came right up to me. I had to be carted off the field because I couldn't walk. My leg was broken.
How long ago was this?
That was a long time, probably 97, 98, something like that. And, you know, they came up to me and handed me a card, and the station contacted them, and they paid all my bills.
Oh, that's
Never
good.
asked me to sign off, paid all my lost wages. So I was good with it.
All's well that ends well. That probably wouldn't happen today. So, the way the TV industry is now.
Well, like, and then Michael Chalik, the guy I was talking to you about, got hit in the same way at Super Bowl 43. He was laying right next to me, and he ended up with a nice settlement over that. But nowadays, they have spotters in front of those cameras moving you out. Back then, they didn't, you know. And the guy there's one guy up there shooting, you know, with the big camera, and the guy driving below, and he's trying to get to a spot, right? And if you're in the way, you're getting run over. So.
Yeah, screw you. Get out of my way. We got the
but
money.
now that they have all kind of like security and spotters in front of those things, getting photographers out of the way.
I remember where I was when we were just talking about how you and I had walked in and where I was going with, I'm going to have you on the podcast. And it's kind of a sad thing to say. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, right? But you're kind of a dying breed
Maybe.
in this industry because everything is all MMJ now,
Yeah, it's
which
going, yeah.
multimedia journalists. So people like Matt have to do everything: shoot, edit, report. Where I'm going with this is like, I think. I mean, I get you have to make business decisions and whatever, and at the end of the day, they're right and we're wrong. That's just the way it goes. So I understand the business side of it. But at the end of the day, I think it really kind of sucks because, like for me, and I'm a meteorologist, but I can only imagine for someone like you, like photographers, news photographers, have that eye.
They do.
Yeah.
You know, they know what looks good. You don't.
I always say
You suck.
No, that's super valid because even though when you do it on your own and you are shooting your own stuff and editing your own stuff, sure you have like total, responsibility for the product you make. Like you have total control. You can know exactly how you want to shoot this. But I always say that a good photog will make it 10 times better because they see things that you don't see. Maybe they can contribute in ways that the way you're sitting there thinking alone. If you are alone, you just won't see. So,
to me as the photographer, I always say to the reporter, you tell the story with words, I'll tell it with the
Absolutely.
camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even when, and I don't just shoot a stand-up anywhere. The background has to tell, visually has to tell the story as well. And that's just something like MMJs or there's so much
just
to
don't
think
have
about because now you have to do everything. You have to worry about audio, sound, and
and then the deadlines on top
right.
of it all. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. And there's so much to worry about. So I kind of feel bad for MMJs in that regard.
Well,
That they don't have the extra set up eyes and
eyes, right?
You know,
And
just
then they come back with like blue video.
well,
out of focus video.
White balance.
white balance, and now you have color correction these days in post.
Might save your skin a little bit, but
Yeah, so now you can kind of save your butt doing.
Well, I don't know. I think it was I was filling in for Jacob on the weekend, and I don't know who it was. I won't mention any names. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus. But the interview subject, I was like, oh my gosh, they didn't even bother to white balance.
They're
They looked
blue.
like a Smurf.
Right. I've always taken what I've done very seriously. Every step of the way, every shot. And even like covering all the games and stuff that I did, it was my goal, my aim to bring the audience, the viewer, a shot or that you weren't going to see the
attention
network.
to detail.
Right.
You know?
And you know what the thing is too, the other aspect of this, and I don't mean to sound like I'm venting here. This is probably the best podcast we've done, is because there's actually some substance here instead of just a bunch of
this is news today. Kind of.
But this job, like Matt is the face, that tells the story. You guys kind of have that anonymity of people not emailing you saying that looked like, or like why did you do this or whatever. So now as an MMJ, you have to put that on top of there too, and so but I think one of the other things is a photographer and a news reporter I've always kind of viewed as, and I don't want to take anything away from first responders because they have a much greater responsibility. But in a sense, they are like first responders because when there's breaking news, when something's happening, you guys are going toward it too.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, yeah.
And when you're an MMJ, not having that extra set of eyes. Can
be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it's kind of a dangerous thing to do.
We've had those conversations in the newsroom before about those kinds of different things. It definitely makes a huge difference. We've seen it happen in years past before with other people and other events, situations that have happened around town, but you never know. It's a crazy world, and it always helps to have that extra set of eyes too, and just another member of the team to back you up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially like nowadays because the way the news is viewed by the outside public. I mean, it's like we're against them, and we're biased, and we're everything else, and and all we do when we come in here on a daily basis is just try to do our best and give the viewers the truth and
something worth their time.
Right. Yeah. And so I don't know that a lot of the negativity that's thrown our way, and I saw like a lot of that like right around COVID and after COVID, you know, when Fox News was, you know, under the spotlight, and I was down at Acrisure Stadium shooting a pit game, and came out, and our vehicles were labeled up Jet Fox 66, and I came outside with a smashed windshield.
Yeah.
You know, because it had a fox on it, you know.
Yeah.
So,
And that's kind of infuriating. Okay, look, everyone has their bias, so
Yeah.
what? But here's the deal. We've joked about this before, but the amount of people that actually think that we sit next to David Muir, you know, is astounding to me. Like, we have nothing to do with that Jimmy Kimmel crap we just went through. Like, we didn't have anything to do with that here at all.
Yeah,
you know?
But that just goes to show you like how the viewers don't understand all of that. You know, it's not like we come in here every day and have a news meeting of who are we gonna lie to today, right? Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's it's that misconception that's it's hard to overcome that.
Yeah.
Well, Ken, I had a question going back to some of the stories you were telling from kind of being out in these different cities and shooting these different things. It's probably really hard to surmise in a 38-year career, but what are some of your favorite moments?
I was going to ask that too.
Or highlights of just some of either the pieces of work you're most proud of, or just being there in that moment.
Like, damn, that was cool.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, you know, Super Bowl 43, the San Antonio homes. I mean, that's the shot that I'm probably getting. That shot is probably the one that I'm most recognized for. I get the most accolades for. You know, it's a game-winning touchdown. You know.
What kind of stuff was that used in? I know.
I think they used it at a national level on ESPN when they did some sort of. A look back on it, and I think
I see it circulate like every year or so, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah. So and I wasn't even so sure because it happened so fast. I didn't think I got back on that shot quick enough, and it wasn't until I was in post-production with Luke Simons, who was the sports guy I was with in Tampa at the time. When he played it back, and then he looked up to me, he's like, "You did it again." And then, because Super Bowl 40, I got the game-winning shot there as well. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to pinpoint, but if I had to say, there's that one. But aside from sports, and one thing that I'm really proud of is that this is the 35-year anniversary of the Golden Apple Award.
Yeah, that's your baby.
I'm Lou Baxter. The 2025-26 school year is a special one for the Golden Apple Award, and we want you to be a part of it. Jet 24 and Penn West Edinburgh are celebrating the 35-year anniversary of honoring teachers in our community with the Golden Apple Award. Over 1,000 teachers have been honored during that time. 34 have been named Teacher of the Year.
And I've been involved with that program since the very beginning. So
we just had one this morning.
All 35 years, and for me to be able to award over 1,000 teachers now for 35 years and go into the classrooms and see the passion and the dedication toward their craft that I have for mine is just amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to go to the opposite end of the spectrum. And was there ever a moment where you were like, "Oh, I really screwed the pooch on that one," or "Oh, that was horrible"? Or
it turned into learning moments, you know?
I mean, there's some stories that I've worked on, that like the Andrew Worst, the story from Edinburgh where the high school kid that killed the teacher down at Edinburgh. I mean, that was just one of the saddest things. And I remember we did a live show covering the funeral, and it was airing in markets in Pittsburgh as well. And to be a camera guy on that was just, it was gut-wrenching.
Heavy, yeah.
You know, I mean, because, I'm having to put a camera and a lens on people who are suffering, and that was awful. And then I'm going to bring this one up because a lot of people don't like the story, but the Newshawn Williams story from Jamestown, the young kid that infected all of those girls up there with AIDS.
Wow.
I was on that story as a freelancer with Mike Gallagher, and and I don't remember tabloid TV back then. Hard copy was it was a station that contacted me. I was on a freelance list if I wanted to do it, and I called Gallagher. I'm like, you want to go up there and do that? He's like, yeah. So we went up there and did it, and I just didn't like it. You
Yeah.
know, when we were scooping all of the networks, because Mike was a digger. I mean, we had victims like right off the bat, but I'm like, I don't like making money off of people who are dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was one of the low points, and I swore to myself I would never take anything like that again. You know,
Yeah.
so everything that I wanted to do was on a positive. You know,
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah,
I
you've
mean,
been pretty
sports. You know,
fortunate.
the ups and downs in sports. You know,
Yeah,
and
those are
you know,
natural, and they're a lot of fun to be a part of both
right.
sides.
Golden apples can't get any more positive than that, right?
Yeah.
So, and then well, you know, all the weather.
We get to
shows
do,
and-
yeah, we got to do
Well,
some
yeah,
cool
we got
stuff.
to, got to do.
I'll
I mean,
never forget.
I love the one that we did where you went out in the lake with.
Oh
the,
yeah, at Herzl Pond.
Herzl Pond.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
this the Frozen?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
threw me in
water
the lake.
rescue?
They wanted
Yeah,
me to
the
do
water-
that again.
yeah.
We've used that video so many times when winter rolls around to talk about water rescues.
Yeah.
Because it's like the only like close-up and personal thing that we have.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, and they did. They asked if I wanted to do it again. I mean, and the thing that
And you were brave doing that, man. That was.
well, you got to be like
Yeah.
you got to be
Yeah.
open
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do stuff. Although he doesn't want to go up in a hot air balloon.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line.
I am with
The
you.
heights.
We get asked to do the Thurston Classic every year in Meadville, and
Yeah.
they always go through the room, and they're like, "All right, who wants to go?" And I'm getting up there in terms of like the room seniority.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nope."
I've volunteered like the past 3-4 freaking years.
Then you can go.
Well,
And
we went down there and it got canceled. I was like, thank God.
Yeah, heights are not my
I was
thing.
like, the wind conditions weren't. I'm like,
damn it.
I'm like, thank God. You know, but,
How I make my living, the one thing that screws me over from my hot air balloon ride is the weather.
You just want to do a Facebook Live.
I mean, I don't even like flying and all. I've done a lot of flying,
Yeah.
the games and stuff. And
But see, the thing is I remember when I first brought this up to you, you were all for it. You're
Yeah,
like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then like as the years went on and I didn't get picked or whatever, I went up to him like earlier this year or last year. I said, "You want to do that, Kent?" And he's like, "No, I'm not about that anymore."
well, I think
have
is that-
changed, Greg.
Yeah, and probably in the last, since like we were doing all the black and gold stuff, then we started flying to all
Right.
the games, and man, I've had some really bumpy rides and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm like, we're not meant to be up here, man.
I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
You know?
The one thing that I think you and I have to do, and we've tried, but it just scheduling and logistically is Punxsutawney.
Yeah.
You know.
Now I've done that once, but I'm not as covering. But it just went, and that was a ton of fun, and I would love to go there to cover that.
Yeah.
You know.
We do like
because
live
you would
Yes.
be perfect
Yes.
down there because you would
Yeah.
Be
do
with the
that.
crew. The
I mean,
crowd down
I am
there.
not afraid to make an out of myself on TV, clearly, or you know, you have to be open to doing stuff, you know. So like when they said we'll throw you in a frozen pond, I was like,
Okay.
okay, let's do it,
Yeah.
you know, because that's what makes good TV. And again, having a photographer there.
Yeah, you're not shooting that one.
Yeah,
as an
no,
MMA.
you can't get as involved as you want. But yeah, we've done a lot of weather shows together, and I always liked working with Kent because, and to be clear, for those who are watching, he's not done yet.
We're not. We don't mean to
Yeah.
talk about him like
Yeah.
in the past tense.
Yeah,
No.
no. But we've done some pretty cool things, and you're always. I'm gonna inflate your ego a little bit.
Okay.
But like whatever I want to do, like Kent, I want to do this, and he's like, okay, let's figure out how to do it. You know, which is another asset to having a photographer. You know, and then I'll never forget I think it was the very first story, and I'm going to pick on the weather department a little
Okay.
bit. We go out and we shoot it, and I came back, and he shot all the B-roll, and I logged the sound, and I wrote it. And I came back to him, and I gave him the script. I said, here you go. It's all right here. It's the video. And he looked at me, he goes, you actually wrote it? I was like, yeah? Why? Because nobody else does. He has to write it all.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, yeah, that was pleasant surprise. Yeah. I'm like, this is great. You know?
A little bit unexpected surprise here.
Yeah.
Well, I just didn't.
To you, it goes without saying.
That was when you said that. Yeah, no, they don't write their stuff. I do. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
'Cause that's like so far beyond me. Like it's just part of the process. Like why wouldn't I write the damn story?
Yeah, I just think everybody's different in how they do things, and so I'm like, once we got back from other shoots, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll log this and write it and so give the guys the scripts, and they can just cut it.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So, but no, you actually, I'll give you props on that. So.
Yeah. But it's been a long and storied career for you, and we're happy to have you and all that.
Yeah,
good
we're
stuff.
happy to give you your flowers.
He likes saying flower and give you flowers. Like he gets hung up on that.
You know, I'm an outdoorsy type of guy. You know.
You know what? Actually, here's a little fun fact about Kent. He takes care of
Well, I used to
like
do
weed
that.
the flower garden and pick up.
Because it would
the
drive me crazy. I
snowflower.
like walking through. I'm like, man, there's weeds all over the place. Man, it's
You see, like Kent's out there weeding the flower
That's
garden.
how much he cares about this place.
yeah. Well, it was like my home, right? You know, second home. I spent probably more time, just as much time here as I have at my own house. You know, and the downfall of all of the glory and everything things that I've covered is I've spent a lot of time away from my family on holidays, and you know, that's just.
Well, we
things like
definitely
that.
thank them for sharing
So yeah,
you
I mean, it's,
with us.
yeah. Well, I thank them. You know, so.
Yeah. Want to do some fun stuff, or do you have any other questions?
No, I'm good. Something else fun.
Another little fun fact about Kent. Trivia.
He's a
All
part.
about the
He's a
trivia.
part of the crew with Brianna down there.
Yeah, Brianna
at Plymouth
McCormick.
Tavern.
All of those drunk Kent doesn't.
Drew, if you could put the little soon to be sponsored by Plymouth Tavern.
Plymouth,
right
yeah.
here.
Right.
When are you sponsoring this?
Right.
There it is.
This dumpster fire.
Well, Mike, that used to be Mike Fenner's, and then Mike couldn't do it anymore, so they brought me in to, you know, handle the sports questions, you know, and of course, like then the first sports question comes up, and like I didn't know it, and they're like, "What do you mean?
Yeah.
This is what you're here for."
How do I know who like hit the most home runs in 1941 or
Right.
something
Pretty
like
specific,
that, right?
yeah.
You know, so I mean, if you give me something recent that I've been to or you know, I can answer that.
Well, Brianna, she's always like, you need to come down so when we get the science questions. I'm like, hey, it's too far of a drive. I'm going to bed. And there's still things like, because, you know, science is such an evolving thing that, you know, I was taught one thing and they're like, no, it's wrong now or whatever. Which
The
I think
mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
yeah, you know.
About all I got.
So like there'll be like a science question that comes up and they'll like everyone will look at me and be like, I don't know.
Phone a friend.
Like, I don't know. But anyway.
We have some just general knowledge ones. We do them at the end of most every show. So we'll hit you with a couple. Question number one. They're multiple choice, so you don't have to scratch your brain too hard. You just send a guess and let it rip.
I'm ready.
What is the rarest M&M color? Red, green, yellow, or brown?
Brown.
I'm gonna go brown too.
Ding, 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 ding.
Woo!
It is.
We do this, man.
It's the least common M&M
I don't
color.
know that
I've seen a few.
Have you?
I've seen a
Okay.
few.
Because they're usually like they try to keep those really colorful, right?
Bright and colorful. Yeah.
Yeah. Question number two. What creature is known as the canary of the seas? Orca, narwhal,
I don't even know what the hell a narwhal is.
beluga whale, or dolphin?
Give me the question one more time.
What creature is known as the canary of the sea?
Canary. So
It's a nickname for one of these.
It can't be an orca because that's like a
a
killer
whale.
whale, right?
Yeah.
And a beluga is a whale too. I mean, so what's the other two?
Narwhal and dolphin. I mean, they're all water creatures.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm going to say the dolphin.
All right, so if he's going to go dolphin, just to be different and probably wrong, I will say, what were the two whales?
Orca or beluga?
I will say orca.
It's actually a beluga whale.
It is.
Damn it! I should have went with the beluga
Beluga
whale.
whales, they make a lot of
Sorry, I
noise
didn't scare you.
frequencies.
That's okay,
I mean, whales in general make a lot of frequencies, so it's because of the wide range of sounds.
Oh, so now
like
we're
the canary in the coal mine type
I get
thing.
it now.
Yeah.
I was thinking the total opposite of something more on the pretty. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
A little dainty sea
Dainty,
creature.
right? So, and that's why I picked it.
Matt's pretty dainty.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Apparently, I like to talk about flowers.
Yeah. I
Question,
wasn't touching that one.
question number 3. What is the national sport of Japan? This is kind of tricky because you might think one or the other. Judo, karate, sumo wrestling, baseball. All of which very popular.
Yeah, I was going to think of something else out there. The national...
The national sport of Japan. It's like just officially designated.
If by process of elimination, I'm going to get rid of baseball and run them choices by me.
Judo,
Judo,
karate,
karate.
sumo wrestling, baseball.
Judo, karate. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of baseball and karate. So I'm going to go with judo.
I'll have to go. I think baseball could be, because
You know what?
baseball is really kind of
It is
popular.
huge in Japan.
It's
It
huge
is.
in Japan.
It is. You're right.
But I mean, if we're going back further, it's going to have to be sumo
Yep,
wrestling.
you got it.
Sumo.
It's sumo, so it's an ancient sport over there, and it has deep cultural significance. So it's their
Oh, yeah.
designated.
That's what I.
Sweaty dudes all over each other. That sounds lovely.
Yeah. Big sweaty.
It's
Big
really
sweaty
interesting.
dudes.
It's really interesting, like the way they do modern sumo. Like you feel like you're in a time machine if you ever see any video of like a national competition over
Yeah.
there. It's just it feels so far fetched.
Heebie-jeebies just thinking about some
Yeah.
dude with his junk in your face. And it's like,
Total leverage sport. Right? I mean, it's like.
All right, and I will do one more question for you guys, and we can wrap it
have
up.
like one
here.
or two.
Okay.
Yeah. What is the most common spice that is used throughout the world?
It's cinnamon or black pepper.
No, we did. That was the currency one. The one that was used as currency. What common household spice was once used as currency in the Middle Ages?
We had this one already.
Did we?
Yes.
Dang
It was.
This was one Sam sent me.
What was it, like basil or something?
No. it
Nutmeg,
was-
cinnamon, black pepper, saffron.
Wait a minute. Say it again. Nutmeg, cinnamon.
Black pepper, saffron.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon?
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 Black pepper.
Is it?
Of
Yeah,
course
sure
it
is.
is.
We did that
the,
one already,
the
though,
most
apparently.
common one there is.
I'll pick a different one for you.
But what? Okay.
Okay. So all right. So go ahead with this one. I'm curious. This is what is it?
So it was the most, which is the most popular spice in the world that's used. So they're cinnamon, black pepper, paprika, and turmeric.
Turmeric.
I'd have to say peppers.
It is, but it's not the same question. It's not the same question. It just has to do with spice. We did an another trivia question that was saying that pepper used to be used as a currency back in the day because it was just really valuable.
I think he's.
Not
You know what? He's fake news. You got a lovely email this morning.
I did get a lovely email this morning.
One of our lovely viewers sharing an opinion, which you are not short of. And that's okay.
Yeah. That's all I got.
You don't have
All right.
any more.
So I think I did pretty well on that trivia round. I
Yeah,
mean,
you
it's-
did.
Yeah.
It's a
Kick
nice
my ass,
warm
for
up
sure.
for next week's trivia over at Plymouth Tavern.
Is there anything the
National
Yeah,
Day of
what's
the
going
Day.
on?
So what's crazy about that is like there was a trivia question that we didn't get, and I think if we would have got this, it had something to do with like what is like an oceanic something. The answer was Australia, like islands or whatever. It was it was islands, and none of us knew it. We didn't even know what what the question like was about, and it ended up being Australia. And I work, you guys see me do crossword. I grab the newspaper. I do those crosswords all the
Yeah,
time.
he takes the station crossword.
Yeah. The very next day, that question was in my crossword, and I ended up getting it. And I'm like, man, if I'd have just had this
Yeah, right?
crossword, and we could have had a win. It could have been jet setters. For
Yeah.
We are looking at, for the days of the day,
These are sometimes they're interesting.
National Boston Cream Pie Day.
Ooh, it is going towards Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
What kind of pie do you like?
I'm a pumpkin man. I like pumpkin with it's got to have the whipped cream. Man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, big time. It is
that
also.
it?
No, there's one more. I wanted to look at another website, but this is global
Gotta close
media.
your sites down.
Shut up.
Okay?
Global Media and Information Literacy Week.
Whatever the hell that means.
Whatever the hell that means. And since these are tomorrow, National Bologna Day.
Bologna, huh? I mean, but now it has to be like a top quality bologna. Like,
Slow fried bologna.
I mean, it's like because the generic, it's just
Pretty
awful.
phony.
But if you
Phony
get,
bologna.
if you get like a right, if you get a Smith's or an Eckrich or one of the higher quality, then I could do it. Slice of onion, mustard on toast.
Boom.
Wait a
Good
minute.
stuff.
Toasted bologna and onion sandwich?
No, you make toast.
Okay.
And then you toast, slice of onion, the bologna, and like a brown stadium mustard or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's a go-to sandwich.
I have to try it out.
It's a sandwich.
Put it on the list.
Yeah, I make a sandwich out of bologna. That's right. I mean, this is what we're talking about.
But that's what I'm
bologna,
saying.
right?
So like you toast the bread.
Yeah.
And then you put the bologna on the bread.
Yeah.
And then you put an onion on the bologna.
Yeah.
And then
you got to cut that. You know, just put
right.
The,
And then you
cut it up
put the mustard on it.
Yeah. And there you go.
Drew, I know you're going to have something to do with this hand motion thing.
I don't know
I
whether
have
that's
never
an old,
tried that.
That's an old maybe Berg thing, you know. I mean, some of those.
well,
They do some wacky stuff over
Used
there.
twos can bond
Yeah.
over that.
I'm not a Berg, technically. I'm like Nomad Berg of sorts.
Nomad
Yinzer.
Berg of
Yinzer.
sorts.
So we used to even like my mother would make toast. Go cut up. Go get we had tomato plants in the backyard.
Yeah.
Go get a fresh tomato, nothing
Can't
like
beat
a
it.
homegrown.
Nope.
Slice that up on the toast with mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's your sandwich.
Tomato mayonnaise on toast.
Yeah. And it has to be like, to me, it has to be like a Hellman's, because I'm not a big Miracle Whip. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
I'm with you. I like the
So,
real stuff.
yeah.
You bring out the Hellmann's and bring out the best.
Yeah.
That was their old slogan back in the day. I don't know if it still is.
I'm not sure, but I've heard of that. You know.
All right. Well, Kent, thank you for joining us.
Thanks. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
It was awesome
This
to
was
have
probably the best podcast we've ever done.
Well,
you. Because it was filled with actual
It was
information.
actual
and
like
good
stories, and other than me just acting a fool.
That happens.
but that, yeah, I mean, well, you're the middleman here, right? So, I mean,
Middleman. I'm just here.
All right. We'll catch you guys next week.
thanks for
Jet
having
fuel.
me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, this is actually, like I said, it was an interesting topic.
Yeah.
So I won't say this was 30, 40 minutes of your life that you won't get back, because it's always cool to hear those stories. But anyway, thanks for watching.
Take care.
ya.
Good luck in the future. See you next time.